The galaxy was at war. Armies of countless alien species clashed across the stars, their fleets stretching for light years. Planets burned, moons were broken apart, entire civilizations disappeared in the endless struggle for power. To the alien soldiers who fought in this war, every battle was the same, until the humans arrived. From the observation deck of a heavy warship, a young alien soldier named Vaynor watched them. His long claws tapped nervously against the rail. As his large, dark eyes studied the strange newcomers, the human fleet drifted into position, looking tiny compared to the massive fleets of the other empires. Their ships were smaller, older, and weaker. Their weapons looked simple, even outdated. The soldiers around Vaynor laughed. "Look at them," one said, his voice sharp with mockery. "They bring fishing boats to a war of titans." Another added, "Do they fight with sticks and fire? They will not last a single strike." The room filled with cruel laughter. But Vaynor did not laugh. He leaned closer to the glass, studying the humans more carefully. Their fleet looked weak. Yes, but their soldiers. Their soldiers were different. Even from a distance, through the glowing screens, he saw it in their eyes. Cold, steady, fearless. They stood ready, not shifting nervously like most recruits. They did not tremble, even though they faced overwhelming numbers. Vaynor's chest tightened. Something about them felt wrong, or perhaps dangerous. Later in the War Council chamber, Vaynor stepped forward. His commander, a tall officer with shimmering scales, looked down at him with irritation. "Speak, soldier. What is it?" Vaynor hesitated, then said, "Commander, the humans. I do not trust their calmness. They look too steady. It is not normal." The commander laughed, and the other officers joined in. "Calmness," the commander sneered. "That is not calmness, fool. That is fear. They are frozen like prey before the predator. Do not waste my time with such nonsense." But Sir Vaynor tried again. "Enough," the commander snapped. "They are weak. Watch and learn how quickly they fall." The council dismissed him with mocking smiles. Vaynor left the chamber, but his unease only grew. The next day, the great battle began. From the bridge of his warship, Vaynor watched as fleets from dozens of species surged forward. Plasma cannons lit the void in blinding streaks of blue and red. Missiles cut across the darkness, colliding with shields that rippled like liquid light. Massive ships exploded, leaving burning fragments drifting like dying stars. Through it all, Vaynor kept his eyes on the humans. Their ships moved differently. Where other fleets charged recklessly or scattered in panic, the humans stayed calm. They did not rush. They did not retreat. Their ships shifted in strange patterns, as if they were waiting for something. It was not fire, it was patience. The alien fleets struck them hard. Human ships were hit, shields failing, hulls burning, and yet no panic came from them. Their formations tightened instead of breaking. Their voices, carried through intercepted signals, were steady. Orders were given with calm precision, not desperation. Vaynor felt his stomach twist. This was not normal. No species acted this way under fire. Even the strongest warriors cracked when faced with such destruction. But the humans, they stood as if they had expected it all along. "Why are they not afraid?" Vaynor whispered to himself. Beside him, another soldier laughed as a human ship was torn apart. "See, weak and broken. Soon the rest will scatter like dust." But Vaynor saw something else. Even as one ship fell, the others closed ranks, covering the gap instantly. Up there was no chaos, no hesitation, as if they had practiced this very loss 1,000 times before. The more he watched, the more uneasy he became. Hours passed. The battle raged on. Vaynor's warship delivered heavy blows against enemy fleets, but still his eyes returned again and again to the humans. Their numbers should have been cut in half by now. Instead, they endured, holding their line with uncanny discipline. At one point, Vaynor noticed something chilling. A squad of human soldiers, stranded after their transport was destroyed, continued fighting on the surface of a burning asteroid, surrounded, outnumbered. With no chance of survival, they did not surrender. They did not even try to run. Instead, they dug in, using the shattered rocks as cover, firing until the last breath. The alien soldiers watching the feed laughed again, calling the humans fools. But Vaynor could not laugh. He stared in silence, his claws gripping the rail so tightly they left marks. It was not foolishness. It was something far more dangerous. That night, when the battle finally ended, Vaynor sat alone in his quarters. The humans had lost many ships. Yes, but they had not collapsed. They had not fled. In fact, their fleet still held formation, steady as stone, as if daring anyone to come closer. The other alien species returned to their celebrations, mocking humans as weak prey who would soon be crushed. But Vaynor felt a chill he could not shake. He remembered their eyes, cold, unbroken, alive with something he had never seen before in any species. Not fear, not weakness, something else. Vaynor whispered into the quiet room. They know something we don't. And with that thought, he realized the galaxy had made a terrible mistake. The battle was over, but Vaynor could not rest. While others laughed and drank in the mess hall, celebrating another victory, Vaynor sat alone with his thoughts. His mind kept returning to the humans, the way they fought, the way they refused to break. Their eyes, cold and steady, haunted him. He had seen hundreds of alien species fight, but none like this. Even the most disciplined armies broke eventually. But the humans, they stayed calm in the fire of war, as if they had been waiting for it. Vaynor needed answers. The next cycle orders came. Vaynor's unit was to guard a contested moon where multiple factions were setting up forward bases. It was a barren place of dust and rock, but valuable because of the energy crystals. Buried deep below, when Vaynor's transport landed, he saw something unexpected. Across the gray horizon, human troops were also there. Their camp stood close to the alien bases, separated only by a stretch of jagged cliffs. Vaynor's commander laughed when he saw them. Look at their tiny camp. They build like nomads, not soldiers. It's primitive fools. But again, Vaynor saw something different. The human camp was small, yes, but organized. Every tent was placed with purpose. Every soldier moved with efficiency. There was no wasted effort, no wandering about. Even their weapons, though old-looking, were kept polished and ready. Vaynor narrowed his eyes. He felt the same unease return. Days passed, and Vaynor observed them from a distance. The alien camps were noisy and chaotic, soldiers shouting, gambling, fighting, wasting time, but the humans trained constantly. From morning until night they ran drills. Small groups practiced maneuvers with perfect coordination, moving as one body. Others built obstacles, tested weapons, or studied maps of the moon's terrain. One evening, Vaynor climbed a ridge to get a better look. From the shadows, he watched as human soldiers crawled through dirt carrying heavy packs. They practiced. Shooting in complete silence. No cheering, no wasted words. When one fell behind, the others didn't mock him. They lifted him up, carrying his weight. Vaynor's claws dug into the rock. This was not weakness. This was not fear. This was discipline. They train as if every battle is their last, he whispered to himself. The next day, the commander noticed Vaynor's constant watching. You again? Still staring at the humans? The commander mocked. Yes, sir, Vaynor admitted. But I believe they are not what they seem. Their calmness, their training. The commander cut him off with laughter. Training. Huh, let them train all they want. It will not save them when the fleets return. You worry too much, soldier. But Vaynor's worry only deepened. That night, something happened. A sudden alarm blared through the alien camp. Unknown raiders mercenaries from another faction had launched a surprise attack. Plasma fire lit the sky as explosions rocked the ground. Soldiers stumbled from their tents, panicked and unprepared. Vaynor grabbed his rifle and ran toward the front lines. Around him, chaos erupted. His fellow soldiers fired blindly, shouting orders no one followed. The camp was falling apart, and then he saw the humans. They had been attacked too, but their reaction was different. Within moments of the first explosion, their camp was silent, organized. Soldiers rushed into position with speed that stunned Vayner. Defensive lines formed instantly. Their leaders shouted short, clear commands, and every soldier obeyed without hesitation. The raiders struck hard, but the humans struck harder. Their small numbers moved with precision, covering each other, never leaving a gap. They fought like one mind. Vayner's own people, far greater in number, were losing ground. But the humans, fewer, weaker, supposedly primitive, were holding the line. In the middle of the chaos, Vayner's commander was struck down, leaving their troops leaderless, soldiers scattered, running in panic. Vayner tried to rally them, but no one listened. Fear had already broken them. The moon fell silent after the raid, but Vayner's mind did not. He could not forget what he had seen, the humans standing like stone while his own people broke and scattered. The commanders dismissed the reports. "They're only lucky." They said nothing more. But Vayner knew it was not luck. It was something else. Something dangerous. Soon, the galaxy would learn it. 2 weeks later, orders came. A new offensive would begin. Multiple fleets were moving in to capture a nearby system filled with resource-rich planets. The humans were there too, building their small outposts, training endlessly. This time, the commanders were eager to crush them. "They hide behind discipline," one general sneered. "But discipline is nothing before firepower. We will end this human nuisance once and for all." Vayner said nothing, he remembered. Their calm eyes, their unity. Firepower alone would not break them. The fleet gathered above the system. Great warships stretched across the void, massive and glowing with weapon energy. Vayner stood on the bridge of his cruiser, watching as preparations began, and then he saw them. The human fleet arrived, small ships, old designs, nothing compared to the shining war machines around them. Other alien soldiers laughed openly. "Look at those scraps. It's barely fit for flight. Primitive toys. They will scatter at the first strike." But Vayner did not laugh. He studied the human ships carefully. They moved in tight formations. Every vessel protecting the others. No wasted motion, no panic. And again, that same cold calmness seemed to radiate from them, even across the void. The battle began. Alien fleets surged forward, weapons blazing. Plasma bolts and energy beams lit the darkness of space. Human ships turned, engines burning bright, and for a moment it seemed they would be overwhelmed. But then, Vayner saw it. The humans moved with precision. They didn't scatter randomly. They lured the enemy forward. Small ships broke away, but not in panic. They formed traps, drawing enemy cruisers into tight spaces where fire from hidden ships struck like knives. Alien commanders shouted in anger as their massive ships were cut apart by coordinated human strikes. "They fight like one brain," Vayner whispered. His claws gripped the console as shock rippled through him. "They know every move before it happens." Hours passed. Both sides suffered heavy losses. But the difference was clear. Alien fleets fought like scattered beasts, each commander seeking personal glory. The humans fought like one body, one mind, every action measured, every strike precise. On Vayner's ship, panic began to spread. "They are smaller," one officer cried. "We should have crushed them already." But still, the humans held, refusing to break. Vayner's commander grew furious. "Push forward. Destroy them now." The order came too late. The humans unleashed their counterattack. It began with silence, and for long minutes human ships seemed to retreat, falling back toward the shadow of a barren planet. Alien fleets rushed after them, eager to end it. Laughter filled the bridges. Victory seemed certain. Then human weapons lit up the dark. Hidden artillery, buried deep on the planet's surface, opened fire. Great cannons roared, hurling streams of deadly energy into the pursuing alien fleet. Ships exploded one after another, caught completely unprepared. Vayner's eyes widened in horror. The humans had planned this. From the start, they had drawn the fleets here into their trap. Chaos consumed the void. Alien ships tried to retreat, but human vessels cut off their escape routes with deadly precision. What had seemed like weakness was revealed as strategy. What had seemed like retreat was revealed as bait. Vaner's ship shook violently as nearby cruisers were torn apart. The commander screamed orders, but it was useless. The trap had closed. At last, the retreat order was given. What remained of the alien fleet limped away, broken and humiliated. Vaner stood at the viewport staring as the human fleet regrouped, calm and steady even after victory. Their losses were heavy, but their lines had not shattered. Their unity had not failed. Once again, the humans had shown something terrifying. Back at the command council, the generals argued loudly. They only won by surprise. One shouted. They cannot do it again, another insisted. But Vaner spoke quietly. They did not win by surprise. They won by discipline, by patience. They are not like us. They do not fight for glory or power. They fight for survival. And those who fight for survival never stop. The council ignored him again, laughing at his warnings. But Vaner knew the truth. The humans were not prey. They were hunters hiding in plain sight. And the galaxy had just seen their first true strike. That night, Vaner could not sleep. He kept seeing their eyes, cold and fearless. He kept hearing the silence of their fleet, the way they moved as one. He realized something that made his scales crawl. The humans were still holding back. What he had seen was only the beginning. Vaner could not forget the battle. The humans had lured whole fleets into a trap and destroyed them with terrifying precision. Council tried to laugh it off, calling it luck and cowards' tricks. But deep inside, every soldier who had faced the humans knew something was different about them. Yet what troubled Vaner most was not their victory. It was the feeling he carried, heavy in his chest. The humans are still holding back. Weeks passed. The war did not stop. Alien fleets regrouped, building larger armies, convinced that overwhelming numbers would crush Earth's soldiers once and for all. Vaner, however, studied every report. He compared battles, again and again. He noticed the same unsettling truth. Humans never showed their full hand. When outnumbered, they fought just enough to survive. And surrounded, they escaped with calculated precision. When given a chance to completely destroy an enemy fleet, they didn't. They are hiding something. Vaner whispered to himself one night in the war archives. His claws traced the glowing reports, every line confirming his fear. Something bigger than we can see. That fear turned real during the Battle of Draxo's Belt. It began like many others. Alien fleets, vast and shining, gathered in the asteroid field. The humans arrived in smaller numbers, their ships once again looking fragile and old. The commanders mocked them openly. This time, they cannot hide behind tricks, one general boasted. We will smash them against the rocks. The battle began, chaos spreading across the asteroids. Human ships darted between rocks with inhuman skill, avoiding heavy fire. Alien ships struggled to follow, slamming into debris, losing formation. Still, numbers favored the aliens. Slowly, they pushed the humans back. See Vaner's commander? Said with a cruel smile. The humans are finished. But Vaner felt no victory. The humans were too calm. Even as their ships burned, even as they fell back, their formations never broke. They were waiting, watching. And then it happened. The humans revealed their weapon. At first, Vaner thought it was another ship emerging from the asteroid shadows. But as it moved, he realized it was something far worse, a massive war machine. Unlike anything he had seen before, slid out of hiding. Its surface was dark and sharp, built not for beauty, but for pure war. It carried no banners, no glowing ornaments like alien ships. It was silent, grim, and terrifying. The alien fleet panicked. What is that? Voices shouted across the comes. The humans gave no answer. The ship activated. Single beam of energy, so precise and powerful it sliced through 3 cruisers at once, cut the battlefield in half. Where alien fleets had been pressing forward, now wreckage floated, burning silently in the void. The humans had unleashed a weapon that should not exist. Chaos erupted. Alien commanders screamed for retreat. Others demanded full attack. Ships scattered in confusion, but the humans did not scatter. They moved with purpose, guiding their mysterious weapon like a predator guiding its fangs. Every strike was perfect. Every shot crippled a key ship, cutting down fleets like trees before an axe. Vaner's cruisers shook under heavy fire. Could hear officers panicking, some trying to flee, others freezing in fear. He looked back at the human Zand for the first time. He understood. The small fleets, the retreats, the careful battles, all of it had been to hide this. The humans had been waiting for the right time to reveal their true strength. By the end of the battle, the asteroid belt was graveyard silent. Wreckage drifted endlessly. Only fragments of the alien fleet survived. And through the haze, the human war machine hovered, silent and cold, like a shadow watching its prey. Then, without a word, it vanished into the dark, slipping away as if it had never been there. The alien survivors could only stare in horror. Back at the council, panic broke out. What was that ship? Generals demanded. How long have the humans built such weapons? Why did we not know? Excuses filled the chamber. Some said it was a stolen design. Others claimed it was a lucky prototype. None wanted to admit the truth. Only Vaner spoke quietly. They hid it because they could. They waited because they were patient. And now, they are not afraid to use it. The council turned on him. You speak like you admire them. One spat. I do not admire, Vaner said firmly. The galaxy was no longer laughing. The battle at Draxo's belt had silenced the council chambers. The image of the human war machine, cutting through fleets like paper, still haunted every commander. Yet pride was a powerful poison. They have only one, the leaders told themselves. One prototype, one weapon. They cannot stand against us all. So the galaxy prepared for its largest strike yet. Armies gathered. Entire sectors sent fleets to crush Earth's forces once and for all. It was a display of power no one had. Seen in centuries, thousands of warships, from dozens of species filling the stars like a storm. Among them was Vaner, silent on his cruiser. His commander grinned, filled with false confidence. This time, even if they have 10 of those secret ships, it will not matter. We will drown them in fire. But Vaner's claws tapped nervously against his chair. It studied the humans too closely to believe such words. He remembered. Their calm, their patience, their silence. They never acted without reason. They will not come unprepared, Vaner whispered. When the humans finally appeared, the galaxy held its breath. At first it seemed almost laughable. The human fleet was small again, their ships plain and unimpressive. They faced a sea of alien vessels that stretched beyond sight. Commanders smirked, soldiers jeered. Surely this time Earth would fall, but Vaner leaned forward, eyes narrowing. Something was different. The humans did not look nervous. Their ships did not twitch or fumble in formation. They floated in perfect silence, like predators waiting for the right moment to strike, and then the human commander spoke. Across every channel, a single calm voice echoed. You came. Here for war. You will leave knowing what war truly means. The battle began. The alien fleet surged forward, filling space with fire. Missiles, plasma, and beams rained down on the human line. Explosions lit the stars. On the surface, it looked like the humans were being crushed. But then the trap closed. Asteroids around the battlefield exploded, driveling hidden human stations, mines, and artillery. From the shadows, more human ships emerged, but these were different. Sleeker, heavier, built for war. The aliens had thought they faced a small army. In truth, they had walked into a carefully prepared kill zone. Whole fleets were cut off and destroyed. Supply ships were burned before they could escape. Alien commanders screamed as their formations collapsed, one after another. Still, they fought desperately, trying to swarm the humans with numbers. For a while, it seemed like they might push through. But then the human war machine appeared again. Not one, not two, but 3 of them. Vaner's breath caught. The sight froze him in place. He had feared one such weapon was dangerous enough, but 3. The giant machines tore through fleets like predators in a sea of prey. Their weapons were precise, unstoppable. Strike chosen to break apart the enemy's command ships and cripple their lines. Panic spread through the alien forces. Ships turned to flee. Discipline collapsed. Soldiers who had once mocked humans now begged their commanders to retreat. "This cannot be real," his commander shouted, clawing at the comms. "You should not have this power." But Vaynor whispered the truth. They had this power all along. They were waiting. Till we gathered enough to break us in one blow. The battlefield became a graveyard. Alien ships burned one after another, their wreckage floating endlessly into the void. Whole armadas disappeared in ours. The humans did not chase those who fled. They didn't need to. Fear had done their work for them. At the end of the battle, silence returned. Only the human fleet remained, standing strong in the ruins. And then something terrifying happened. The humans did not celebrate. They did not cheer. Their ships did not flash victory signals like other species did. They simply turned, gathered their fleet, and vanished into hyperspace. No words, no threats, no demands, just silence. As if the destruction of thousands of ships had meant nothing to them at all, the council chamber shook with arguments. Some leaders demanded peace immediately. Others screamed for revenge. Pride clashed with fear. "They are monsters," one shouted. "They are only men," another argued. "No," Vaynor said, stepping forward at last. "They are worse than monsters. Monsters kill without reason, but humans kill with purpose, and they are not done." The chamber grew silent. "What do you mean?" someone asked. Vaynor looked around at the frightened leaders, his voice steady and grim. "They are not fighting just to survive anymore. They are fighting to win." That night, alone in his quarters, Vaynor stared at the stars. He thought of the human eyes he had seen, the same cold, steady gaze in every battle. Not cruel, not wild, just determined. He knew what it meant now. The galaxy had pushed humans too far, mocked them, underestimated them, and forced them to reveal their hidden strength. And now the humans would not stop. Vaynor closed his eyes, a single thought heavy in his mind. The breaking point has come, and the galaxy may not survive what comes next. The galaxy was broken. Worlds that once mocked humans now whispered their name in fear. Fleets that had sworn to destroy Earth floated as wreckage in the void. But still, some leaders refused to surrender. Pride would not let them. "They cannot fight forever," the council argued. "They are few, they are fragile. One more strike, and humanity will fall." And so the galaxy prepared for one final war. The largest fleet in history was gathered, tens of thousands of ships from every empire. They called it the last stand. If humans won this battle, no one could ever challenge them again. Each other. The alien fleet filled space like a sea of steel. The humans, by comparison, looked small, just a fraction of the numbers. Vaynor stood on the bridge of his cruiser, silent as he watched. He should have felt pride at being part of the greatest fleet ever assembled. Instead, he felt dread. He remembered the last battles, the calm human voices, the way they never wasted a movement, never panicked, never laughed, always steady. Always. "Cold," he whispered to himself. "What are you hiding this time, humans?" The signal came. The alien fleet advanced, engines blazing, filling the stars with firepower. Explosions shook space itself. The humans seemed to vanish beneath the storm. For a moment, commanders cheered. "Cannot hold this. Not against us all." But then, the humans revealed their answer. From behind the human line, the war machines appeared again. Not 3, not 5, but 10 of them. The galaxy had thought Earth could barely build one. But now, 10 of the massive human constructs moved forward in perfect unison. Their weapons glowed with deadly light, each strike destroying fleets, as if the universe itself obeyed their command. Panic spread instantly. "Impossible," screamed commanders across the comms. "They should not have this power. They are a young race, how can they?" But Vaynor saw the truth. His claws dug into the metal of his chair. "They were never weak," he whispered. "They were waiting, watching, building." The battle became a slaughter. Alien fleets tried to push through, but the human war machines tore them apart with surgical precision. Missiles shredded carriers, beams cut dreadnoughts in half. Mines hidden in the void exploded, breaking entire wings before they even reached the front line. The humans fought with a kind of terrifying calm. Their ships moved like pieces on a chessboard, every action planned long before the enemy even reacted. Vaner's commander shouted orders, his voice cracking with fear. Forward. Break them with numbers. But numbers meant nothing now. Every advance ended in ruin. Every attempt to retreat was cut down. The humans controlled the battlefield like they had written its rules. It was no longer war, it was execution. As his ship shook under fire, Vaner knew his people were finished. He turned his eyes to the human fleet and saw them those steady, cold gazes. Not celebrating, not cruel, just unstoppable. For the first time, Vaner felt not only fear, but respect. Hours later, silence returned. The last stand had become the last graveyard. Wreckage of alien fleets drifted across the stars, endless and broken. Out of thousands of ships, only a handful remained, and none dared to fight. The humans stood alone in victory. Their ships did not signal joy. Their war machines did not roar in triumph. They simply turned, gathered their survivors, and held formation. Then, across every channel, a single human voice spoke. War is over. If you want peace, come to us. If you want destruction, stay your course. No threats, no arrogance, just certainty. The council chambers, silence ruled. No one dared to laugh at humans anymore. No one called them primitive or weak. They were something else entirely. A force that fought not for glory but for survival. A force that could not be broken, even when the galaxy united against them. And now, they were the ones who held the choice of war or peace. On his damaged ship, Vaner stared at the stars. His crew waited for his words, but none came.
What could he say?